Trixie Hunter-Merrill has been a social media chair, public relations manager, and now the blog editor for District 26 Toastmasters. She recently earned her Distinguished Toastmasters Award in 2 years. She's a published author and an inspirational speaker in Denver, Colorado. She's known for her topics on authenticity, vulnerability, and realness. She's the sprinkler of fabulousness and decides to sprinkle fabulousness wherever she goes and leaves a trail of glitter behind.
That's right.
Though her journey sounds lofty, it was a bumpy one, fighting cancer twice. Today, Trixie will share her Toastmaster journey and how Toastmasters played a role in life to get her where she is today. Please help me welcome Trixie Hunter-Merrill.
Who here has ever had something save them? Or you feel like something saved you? Anyone? Okay, could you briefly tell us real quick what you think it was that saved you?
I did weight loss surgery and lost 150 pounds.
Okay.
I recently found out I also have a congenital heart defect, so it has saved me twice.
Awesome. And who raised their hand over here? And what about you?
My wife saved me from a destructive life.
Wives are good that way. For me, I feel like Toastmasters was that thing. Toastmasters saved my life. In October 1st of 2016, I joined Toastmasters. I was a guest, just like you, Abby, and I came in and snuck in the back like some do and sit at the last chair and hope that they didn't call on me, even though we come to these groups to learn, to build confidence and speak. I fell in love. I loved the structure. I loved the organization. I loved the functionaries, timer, grammarian, word of the day, thought of the day. Some places had entrepreneur tip of the day. I fell in love with everything about the agenda, all the functions that they had. The reason why part of that is because before I joined Toastmasters, I was in the JCs. Who knows what the JCs are? Anyone? Okay. They're called Junior Chamber International. They do have word programs where you can learn to speak. They have writing programs, membership building, great things. However, one thing that is a key phrase in that, and that is Junior Chamber International. Because at year 40, out the door you go. Thanks so much. Thanks for playing. See you later. Doesn't matter where you're at in that journey, whether or not you've just started or you've been in it for years. 40, you're out the door. And I was looking for something else to fill my life. When I joined Toastmasters, as I said, I fell in love with it because it was similar to the structure that the JCs had given me. Little did I know that 2 weeks later, I would find out that I had colon cancer for the first time. I didn't know these people. They were merely guests to me like you are. I barely knew them, only 2 weeks. Yet, from that point on, I learned more about Toastmasters, that there's people involved, which may sound silly, but we forget that. We come to a meeting and we see the structure and we go home. But these people started affecting my lives. I didn't even know them, and they were there for me. The doctor was highly concerned because I'm an entrepreneur. I'm an author, and I didn't have a job to go to in the morning. I didn't have little kids running around the house that I had to take care of. My children were out of the house. I didn't have those things to look forward to. And he said, well, I'm concerned about you because you don't have these things. I said, it's okay. I have Toastmasters. I just joined this great group, and I really want to be a part of it, so I'm going to make this part of my life. In January of 2017, I started my chemo, and I scheduled my chemo on Monday specifically because on Tuesday morning, we're an early morning club. We meet at 7:30 to 8:30 in the morning. I knew I was going to have to drag myself up to get to that meeting, but I was determined to do it because I wanted that something to look forward to. I fell in love with this group because they came out of nowhere, out of the woodwork for me, and took me to chemo. They washed my clothes. They did my laundry. They cleaned in my kitchen, they even brought me Jamba Juice when I felt like I couldn't eat anything else. I'm a sucker for Jamba Juice. I loved it. And I learned, JC's was a great group, but it was a club. It was just an organization that I was in. This was more than that. This really saved my life because I learned early on Toastmasters is family. Toastmasters is more than just the club and the organization and the structure. And they proved this to me that whole year of 2017 when I was fighting for the first time. In September of 2017, I luckily at that time was announced that I was in remission. We threw a party, they had an open house, they even brought cake in my honor, though I couldn't eat it at the time. It was fabulous. Again, I learned, wow, this is different. This isn't like any other club I've ever been in my life. As time went on, I went to France. My husband and I celebrated my remission, and we went on to do greater things. And I spent that whole year from 2017 to 2018 stepping into a new world of Toastmasters. My first time in Toastmasters, when I first joined, we used to have the Competent Communicator Manual. Now we have an online program, but the Competent Communicator was 10 speeches. And it took me that whole year I was fighting cancer to get through that. I would show up when I could. I'd sit in the back. I'd wear a mask if I had to. And they even taught me how to speak through that mask so that way I would be able to be heard and understood. Over and over, tried and true, they proved to me that they were more than just a regular club and organization. When I got better, I went to my first Toastmaster Leadership Institute. And the district director leaned over and said, I hear you're a web and social media strategist, and we desperately need a social media chair. Will you be that for us? Yes, I would love to. However, I'm recently in remission, and I don't really know where my health is at. No problem. Take care of yourself. Then the district showed me that they were more than just a club, more than just a group. They were there through everything. Any doctor's appointment I had, anything I had to do, they were there for me. They worked with me on every level. And I fell in love again with Toastmasters. And I saw Toastmasters as family. It's more than that. Maybe I should change the speech to Toastmasters as family because it's so great. I loved it. I went away to France in August and came back last September, and I wasn't feeling quite right. I wasn't really sure and went to the doctor, and it was test after test, and everything came back inconclusive. We couldn't find anything. And finally I said, things don't seem right in my ovaries. I think we need to look there. And sure enough, the colon cancer had metastasized to my ovaries. In January of this year, we found out that my cancer had came back. And I'm still fighting. But I'm fighting as strong as I can. And I developed a new love for Toastmasters at that point. Because the doctor said again, we're worried about you. Again, you have, yes, your district and you have your club, but what else do you have? And I said, I don't know. Let me think about that. And I really wanted to achieve my Distinguished Toastmasters. And as soon as I heard about how long it takes so many other people to get to it, I said, well, I don't want to be one of those people because I don't know if I have that time. So I worked hard, and I joined a Monday club, and I joined a Tuesday club, and then I joined a Wednesday club, and a Thursday club, and an Advanced Toastmaster club. No, I'm not addicted. I just drank the Toastmaster Kool-Aid. And from that point, I was able to get another speech done and another speech. And some people go to AA when they're not feeling well or things like that. Toastmasters became my new AA. It became the thing that when I was feeling sad, I went to Toastmasters. When I was feeling happy, I went to Toastmasters. When I was feeling like I really didn't want to go, I still went to Toastmasters. Because that is what helped me to move on with my life. I, over and over again, just kept delving into Toastmasters left and right. I focused on the speeches. I focused on pathways. I focused on doing both of them because I really felt like I didn't know where my time in life was going to be. When you're faced with cancer, you don't know. The first time is hard enough. But when you've dealt with cancer twice, or you have illnesses that keep coming up in your life, sometimes you don't really know what life is going to bring your way. Now, the irony of that is really we all know that. We all know there's no guarantees in life. We all know that we could be hit by a truck tomorrow. We could stumble down a hill and hurt ourselves. Anything could happen. However, when you have cancer, and cancer twice, all of a sudden that hits home hard, like a hard reality of life. You know what? I might not make this. And this cancer only had a 14% chance of surviving. The doctors are even surprised that I'm standing here today. How did you do that? How are you still living? How are you still functioning? Well, because I have Toastmasters. It was almost a running joke that when this year people would come to bring me to chemo and be there with me, every single time it was a Toastmaster because they were there for me. The doctor would walk in and I would introduce, this is my friend so-and-so. They're from this Toastmasters. The next time, 2 weeks later, this is so-and-so. They're from this Toastmasters. Eventually the doctor said, wait a minute, how many Toastmasters are you in? I said, oh, just 5. Because that became the thing that mattered to me. Toastmasters was the thing that I looked forward to. I needed something to look forward to. My kids were grown. They were out of the house. My husband worked full-time. And yes, I had a business. I actually have 4 that I work on the side. And I love them. But that isn't the thing that made me want to get up out of bed every single day. One thing I love about Toastmasters is club culture. Every club culture is different. If you've never gone outside of this club, go visit another club. If you've never gone outside of that, go visit the district. Because when you start seeing things outside of your club, you realize that it's not always the same way. It may not always be the same speakers. And you can learn and grow from each of these individuals. Because you learn, that club is fun and lighthearted. This club has a little bit more structure. And maybe this other club is a little mix of the two. That made sense to me. And that gave me something to look forward to because each day I would go to a Toastmasters meeting. That may be the only thing I did all day. Sometimes I didn't want to get up out of bed. Sometimes I didn't want to go to a 7:30 meeting. But I drug myself out and got dressed and put my makeup on and I went to my meeting. And I would come home and maybe take a pill or take something to keep me from throwing up and go back to bed. But I went to those clubs and I went to those meetings because they were so impactful and important to me. Now, if any of you have gone through things like this in your life, you might be thinking about it and recognizing it. But I want to really challenge you and make you think about not just Toastmasters, but what else maybe is saving your life. Maybe there's something else outside of Toastmasters you're involved in, and maybe Toastmasters is something you want to get more involved in. The district is a great opportunity to do that. I've been in the district now for a few years. In my first year in the district, I was the social media manager. The next year, as he said, public relations. And that's a great transition. Now I'm the blog editor. And I was telling them earlier, the reason why I'm the blog editor is because one thing that I also did this year that gave me something to look forward to was I helped redesign our district website. We were a little behind on the times, only like 15 years that website hadn't been updated. And I said, let's do this, and was able to do that for my high performance leadership project. I delved into Toastmasters Fall Conference Chair, as Spring Conference Chair, and then as Silent Auction Chair. I kept living my life and delving into Toastmasters over and over and over again because it made sense to me and it gave me something to look forward to. I want to challenge you all and leave you with a call of action today to think about where you want to go in Toastmasters. In Toastmasters, we hear a lot about the why. If you haven't, the headquarters is now in Denver, and we in Denver constantly hear about what's your why? What's your why? Why did you join Toastmasters? What's your why? And that's all great about why we join, but guess what I found out through that journey? It's not about over here why we joined, it's about over here Why do you come to the meeting every Tuesday night? There's something you get out of it. Maybe it's a person you like to see. Maybe it's the confidence that it's building. Maybe it's preparing you for public speaking if that's what you want to do. There's something that you're getting. Why are you coming to the meetings? Why do you maybe want to go further and forward in Toastmasters? Where do you want to go in life? Because I know this sounds like I should be headquarters promo for Toastmasters, because I am. I love it so much. I don't want to work for them, I just want to help them. Because there's so much that you can do for growing your life. You want to build confidence? Get right here. If you are lacking confidence, make sure you stand on this stage at least once a month. At least if you can. Sometimes in a bigger club you can't always do that. Get out of your club and visit other clubs. Join the district. Maybe you want to have your Distinguished Toastmasters. To be able to do Distinguished Toastmasters, you have to spend a year in the district. Now, I don't know this is District 19, right? I don't know District 19 as well, the Iowa district, if that opportunity is there, but it's worth the ask. It's worth the potential, because if you can do that, you'll see a whole new life, and I promise you, it will change you. I used to be so sensitive 2 years ago before I joined the district. Everything was personal. Everything bothered me. I always thought it was a personal attack against me. After spending 2 years in the district, I've developed a lot thicker skin. I promise you. And I'm not saying that that's a negative thing, but that's a challenge, and it will challenge you. If you want to be better in your jobs, if you want to be a better husband or a better wife or a better anything, Toastmasters is going to help you to do that. I strongly believe in that. And I want you to think about what is important in your life. Where do you want to go, and what do you want to do? Why are you in Toastmasters, and where do you want to go in Toastmasters? Because for me, Toastmasters, I truly feel, did and is always saving my life. While I'm still battling cancer now, like I said, the doctors wonder, how are you standing here today? You shouldn't have made it. It's a 14% chance of surviving. That's it. That's all. When I first got cancer, I had a 75% chance of surviving. I did chemo, I took herbal medicine, I do Western medicine, and while I think all of those things were a contributor, I truly and honestly feel that Toastmasters saved my life. If I hadn't have had that to look forward to, if I hadn't have had something to get up and see every single morning, that there was some place or afternoon every day that I could go to and I could escape. It was my movies in essence. It was the thing that I could care about someone else. Hey, how are you doing today? How's your kids? How's your business? How are things going? I got to know each and every one of the people in every one of my clubs. I got to know what their life was like and delve into their lives as well as mine. And I look forward to seeing their faces and the next person's face and the next person's. I just want to challenge you today to think about those things. Why are you here? Not why did you join, but why are you still here? And where do you want to go? Because for me, it saved my life, and I feel like it's still saving my life. Perhaps it could save yours. Mr. Toastmaster. And I have a little gift. Forgive me that it's only one, but I brought you one of my books, and you can find it online or share it. And this is the first book I wrote, Falling into Fabulous at Phoenix Rising. And it's about all the other overcoming that I did in my life. This is about my first cancer journey as well. But hopefully it's something that you guys will cherish as a little gift from me to you. And as I said, I brought the other items as well.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.